The moment I saw the "just married" sign zip-tied to my mailbox, I knew the marriage was already cold in the ground. It wasn't even centered, just dangling there like a joke that got stale before the punchline. Cheap plastic, bent in the middle like someone had already tried to rip it down and gave up halfway through. Below it, pink streamers flapped in the wind. A bouquet of half-dead helium balloons bounced off the edge of my fence. One had a faded heart on it. Another was shaped like a champagne bottle and deflated into something that looked more like a busted slug. In the driveway, a white BMW convertible, still ticking hot, top down. There were rose petals in the front seat, and the license plate frame read. He put a ring on it. It was parked right in front of the garage I had spent 3 summers remodeling. The garage Alyssa once called your kingdom, back when she pretended to be proud of me. Back when she used to bring me lemonade and sit barefoot on the steps, watching me stain cedar panels like I was some kind of artist instead of a man with a power sander and too many dreams. Now another man was parked in my kingdom. My heart didn't break. It just stopped. No sound, no sharp pain, just a sudden stillness, like my blood hit a wall. I set down my duffel on the curb. It hit the ground harder than I expected. In my hand were 2 gifts. A wooden lighthouse for Noah, hand-carved by a dock worker in Angola. I paid for it in cigarettes and American peanut butter. A leather-bound sketch journal for Sadie, wrapped in sea blue ribbon with a whale charm on the spine. 10 months on the ocean. 2 birthdays missed. 1 anniversary forgotten on purpose. And I had imagined handing them these gifts while my wife, my partner, kissed my neck and said, "Welcome home." Now I was staring at rose petals in a convertible I didn't recognize. My phone buzzed. "Alyssa, don't come in. Locks are changed. Kids are good. Please don't make this ugly." Too late. I should have walked away right then. But I didn't. I walked across the yard, boots crunching the gravel like gunshots. The porch light was still that same bulb I installed last summer, still crooked from the time Noah hit it with a wiffle bat. The screen door creaked as I stepped up. The main door didn't budge. I tried the handle once. Deadbolt. Then I heard heels. That familiar rhythm. Alyssa used to walk like that when we were dating, like the floor was lucky to hold her. She opened the door just enough to look out. Not tear-streaked. Not shocked. Just irritated. "Really, Will," she said. "You couldn't just go to a hotel like I asked?" "It's not a hotel kind of homecoming," I said. She stepped out fully, hands on hips. Tight black dress. Fresh tan. Lipstick that looked like she was auditioning for a role called You Lost. She looked me up and down, from my cracked iPhone in my hand to the grease-stained canvas bag at my feet. "God, you look like a tired mistake," she said. I smiled. "Still better than your boy toy spray tan." She didn't laugh, just crossed her arms. "You weren't supposed to come back early. Shipping lanes got jealous of your new timetable," I said. She snorted. "Don't do that thing where you joke your way through this. It's pathetic." "Nah, pathetic is getting married in a house your first husband still pays for." She bristled. "We were already done, Will. We just didn't sign the papers. You were emotionally checked out. Absent. You ever heard of a time zone?" I heard of being a wife to a ghost. 10 months gone, and all I got were 2 videos of fish and a late child support deposit. "It wasn't late," I said. "You just spent it too fast." She didn't answer. "Then, you want honesty?" "I begged you not to take another contract." I begged. "You said, just one more job." "Well, guess what, Will? I got tired of being married to a ghost with calluses." She laughed. "Ezekiel makes me feel like a woman again. Not some glorified roommate who texts from a cargo ship about how he misses the dog more than his wife." That hurt, but I didn't let it show. Instead, I reached into my back pocket and pulled out my leather wallet, the one my father gave me the day I turned 18. Held it up like a relic. This thing's held cash, blood, and secrets for 23 years. Never once let me down. She raised an eyebrow. "What's your point?" I slid the compass into it gently, closed it, and said, "Some things keep their value. Some things sell out for a convertible and a bottle of Moscato." She rolled her eyes. "I don't have time for your cowboy metaphors." "Right?" I said. "Your new husband's probably out back trying to figure out how to start the grill I welded shut in 2020. She pointed a manicured finger at me. "You will not ruin this day for me. Not after everything you didn't do." I stepped off the porch. "Then I guess I'll just ruin tomorrow instead." I drove to a roadside motel 20 minutes out of town. One of those places that rents by the hour but swears they're family-friendly because the soda machine works. Room 18. Smelled like a mix of mildew, Lysol, and smoke covered up with lemon cleaner. The TV was bolted to the dresser. The mattress dipped like it had taken more beatings than a boxing ring. I didn't care. I had signal. That's all I needed. I called Shane. She married someone else in my house, Shane. While I was still sending money. Still covering the mortgage. You want to make her choke on it? He asked. I want to leave her with ash in her teeth. Say it then. I closed my eyes. Full burn. By 7 a.m., her bank cards were frozen. By 9:15, I had logged into our joint cloud account and found a folder labeled Tax Docs. Inside? Scanned images of wedding invitations. A digital RSVP tracker. Even a wedding license application filed 3 months ago. I emailed copies to Shane. By noon, he sent me back a PDF marked Petition for Emergency Custody and Exclusive Asset Control. I signed it at a diner. Ate my eggs cold. Left a tip anyway. Because I'm not her. And tomorrow? Tomorrow she'd find out the hard way that the man she buried overseas was still very much alive. And he was digging his way back up. The day I came to take back my house, it didn't feel like home. It felt like an open wound, familiar, but infected. The air still smelled like cinnamon-scented cleaner. The fake kind Alyssa used to spray right before company came over. Only now it was mixed with something colder. Stale wine. A man's cologne. That sharp scent of bleach barely masking sweat. She wasn't expecting me. Not like this. But I had every legal right to walk through that front door. I still owned the place. My name on the deed. My signature on every home improvement receipt. From the new gutters to the gravel in the driveway. The house might have forgotten me, but the paper trail hadn't. The locksmith didn't ask questions. Just popped the deadbolt with 2 quick twists and gave me a nod like he'd done it 1,000 times before. I stepped in. The soul of the place was gone. No laughter. No toy trucks on the rug. No juice cups abandoned on the kitchen island. It looked like a showroom version of our life. The photos were gone. Every one of them. Our wedding picture that once hung above the fireplace? Replaced by an abstract painting, red smears across a white canvas, like someone was trying to scrub out history. I took slow steps through the living room. The rug was new. The couch, too. Nothing had the wear of love or use. It wasn't my house anymore. It was a stage. A fake set where Alyssa could play whatever role suited her audience that day. I passed the bookshelf. Sadie's nature books used to be stacked there, spines cracked, pages dog-eared from bedtime reads. Gone now. Replaced with decorative vases and fake plants that didn't even try to look real. Then I heard it. Laughter. Upstairs. A man's voice. I set my bag down quietly near the door. Unzipped it. Pulled out the padded folder from my lawyer, divorce petition, financial audit, custody paperwork. Every page numbered and time-stamped. Just in case. Then I pulled out my old voice recorder and clicked it on. I moved slow up the stairs. Carpet was cream-colored now. Thick. Looked like something out of a magazine. Soft enough to hide secrets. Too new for kids who spilled juice. I reached the top just as I heard her voice through the bedroom door. Alyssa, I told you he might try something dramatic. Him, you want me to call my cousin? He's a deputy. That was enough to tell me who he was. Ezekiel Ransom. The new husband. The clown with the muscle shirts and Instagram preacher vibes. The same guy who once backed into my mailbox and didn't apologize. Now shirtless and cozy in the house I poured every hour of my 30s into. I knocked. 3 slow, solid hits on the wood. Silence. Then a click. She opened the door and froze. Red silk robe. Hair up in a clip. One eyebrow raised like she was starring in some midday soap opera. Will, what are you doing? I held up the thick envelope. This is what I'm doing. Her eyes flicked down but didn't reach for it. You don't get to just walk in here. I smiled without humor. Actually, I do. It's still mine. Got the title and a locksmith to back me up. Left the spare keys in your mailbox, figured that was polite. You're trespassing. Nope. I'm standing in my living room. With documented proof. Then he appeared behind her. Shirtless, of course. Tall, smug, arms crossed like a gym poster come to life. He looked me over, then offered a cocky grin. So you're the ex, he said. Alyssa said you were more of a ghost than a husband. I smiled back. You must be easy. It's Ezekiel. I figured. Easy just feels more appropriate. He frowned, confused. I leaned a little and nodded toward the room behind them. Careful with the mattress. Built that myself. Year 3. Used reclaimed oak and a busted suspension coil from my dad's truck. Might start squeaking after 45 seconds. That's the limit. He blinked. Alyssa clenched her jaw. I stepped past them. The bedroom was unrecognizable. Different bedspread. Faux fur throws. Giant gold-framed mirror. No warmth. Just curated coldness. I walked to the foot of the bed and dropped the envelope like it was a tombstone. There's your next chapter. Hope you like reading. You serve me papers in my bedroom? She hissed. I shrugged. Thought it was poetic. You like that kind of thing, right? I stepped out before either of them could say another word. On the way downstairs, I noticed something hanging where our wedding photo used to be, a framed quote. You owe yourself the love you give so freely to others. I muttered. You owe the mortgage first, sweetheart. In the kitchen, I opened the fridge. Nothing for kids. Nothing real. Just almond milk. Kombucha. Shrimp cocktail. A half-eaten cheesecake and a bottle of Prosecco. No cereal. No fruit snacks. No milk. I pulled out my phone and called her. She answered on the second ring, breathless. What now? I'm calling CPS. What? Are you insane? I kept my voice calm. You've got no legal claim to the house. There's a shirtless man in your bed who isn't your husband. And your kids are being fed with nothing but Pinterest quotes and shrimp forks. She went silent. I'm filing for emergency custody today. She hung up. The next 2 weeks were a quiet firestorm. Ezekiel got served while running a boot camp class in the park. Tried to play it cool, but someone took video. It ended up on TikTok. 10,000 views by lunch. Alyssa's accounts were frozen. Her credit cards declined. One of her bank statements showed a payment to Randy's window repair. Problem was, there's no Randy. But there were text messages. I had the logs. Payments sent to burner Venmo accounts tied to men I'd never met. Hotel charges that didn't match her timeline. She tried spinning it. Told everyone I was unstable, that I'd broken in, that I was violent. Her friend Shelby called me. She said you showed up with a weapon. I laughed. Yeah, a folder and a pen. Shelby hesitated. I don't know who to believe. I brought groceries. She brought easy. Silence. Then, you always were quieter than you looked, Will. I didn't answer. Court moved faster than I expected. Alyssa wore white. I wore navy. The courtroom was small, wood-paneled. Smelled like old paper and stale air. The judge listened. Patient. Sharp. He asked questions. To her. Did you remarry while still legally married to Mr. Parker? To me. Have you maintained financial support throughout the marriage and separation? Yes, Your Honor. I've never missed a payment. She fumbled. Blamed stress. Said I was cold, distant, absent. I let her dig her hole. Then my lawyer played a voicemail. Her voice. Cold, confident. I moved on. You were never here anyway. That was enough. Judgment granted. I got full custody, full house rights, full financial control. She had 5 days to vacate. Ezekiel didn't show up, not even to support her. When I walked back into the house that weekend, it was empty. Furniture gone, drawers open, closets stripped bare. On the fridge, a note in lipstick red ink. You won this round. The kids will see through you one day. I grabbed a marker and wrote underneath. They already do. Sadie hugged me that night like she hadn't seen me in years. Noah asked if we could roast marshmallows and burn the gold throw pillows in the fire pit. We did. Out back. Under stars. Right where Alyssa once said she wanted to grow old with me. I toasted a marshmallow while my kids laughed and screamed over sticky fingers and melting chocolate. And for the first time in a long time, the house felt warm again. Like maybe it remembered who built it after all. They say when you haunt a place long enough, it forgets you. But I wasn't haunting. I was rebuilding. The house was quiet now, not empty, just peaceful. My kids laughed again. Sadie spent afternoons under the big oak drawing leaves in her sketchbook. Noah started lining up his toy trucks on the kitchen counter like he used to. Sometimes he'd pretend one of them was the judge truck and the others were on trial. His imagination was relentless. Me? I moved like a man halfway through a dream I couldn't wake up from. I fixed. I cooked. I folded laundry. I took PTO and read bedtime stories like they were sacred scripture. I made waffles on Sundays even when I had no appetite. I answered texts from their teachers and cleaned dried applesauce off the microwave door. I did all of it. But I couldn't sleep. Not because I was scared. Not even because I was angry. Because I still felt her in the walls. That perfume she always wore, clinging to the bathroom door. The lipstick smudges on the back of a mug she must have forgotten to take. A single red heel left in the closet, wedged in the back like a warning or a trap. She was gone. But the ghost stayed. It was Noah who asked the first hard question. It was a Thursday night. Spaghetti night. He sat across the table twirling his fork in a way that said he was trying to figure something out. Then he said, "Why doesn't Mom live here anymore?" I set my fork down. Didn't flinch. Just breathed. Sadie looked up, too. I wiped my mouth, not to stall, but to get it right. Because some people don't stay where they don't want to be, I said. He blinked. Did you tell her to leave? No, I said. She chose it. Sadie nodded quietly. She picked Ezekiel. I froze. You knew. She used to wear perfume when he came over. She never wore perfume for you. Also, he didn't like dogs. That made me smile. She told me the dog made her sneeze. I muttered. Noah took a bite of garlic bread, chewing slowly. I like it better now, he said. It's quiet. That night, I sat on the porch with a cup of black coffee, watching the porch light flicker. I thought about all the times I tried to protect them from the truth. But they knew. Kids always know. They see everything we think we're hiding. 3 weeks later, a plain white envelope. No return address. Inside, a printed motion. Legal document. Alyssa had filed a petition to reverse the custody ruling. Her claim? Emotional manipulation. Unstable reacclimation from high-risk employment. Diminished maternal contact due to coercion. She was saying I was using my trauma from the job to manipulate the kids. That I was isolating them. Weaponizing affection, she called it. She used phrases like trauma bonding and emotional bribery. She even cited my offshore absence as abandonment patterns. Claimed I was training the kids to fear her. This from the woman who texted me from Cabo while I worked 18-hour shifts on a rig held together with rust and prayer. Her attorney reached out the next day. Requested a meeting. Informal. That's what they called it. I agreed. We met at a small cafe downtown. Not a courtroom. Not an office. A place where they thought I might be softer. Alyssa walked in with her lawyer like she was stepping into a Pinterest ad. Gray sweater, soft beige scarf. No makeup except just enough to look natural. Hair loose, not a red nail in sight. She sat down across from me without saying hello. Her lawyer started, all smoothness and PR charm. We're hoping to avoid a lengthy legal process. Our client simply wishes to re-establish balance and maternal presence in the home. I sipped my coffee. No cream. No sugar. I wasn't there for comfort. Why now? I asked. Alyssa looked at her tea. Not me. The kids need a mother, she said. They need stability. You had that. You traded it for a convertible and a man who uses protein powder as cologne. She looked up, the facade cracking. I was overwhelmed. I nodded. That's what they all say. Overwhelmed into hotels. Overwhelmed into new beds. Overwhelmed into forgetting birthdays. Her lawyer stepped in again. We'd like to suggest mediation. We believe a structured transition period. I reached into my coat and dropped something on the table. Her wedding license. The fake one. Filed while she was still married to me. Stamped. Signed. Her name in permanent ink. You tell the judge I said hi, I said, and left. Later that day, I found myself in the attic. It wasn't intentional. I was looking for Christmas lights. Something to distract the kids. Instead, I found a box. Labeled in her handwriting. Will's old stuff. Inside was my old football jersey. The watch my mom gave me when I graduated. It hadn't ticked in years. A leather bracelet Sadie made in 2nd grade. Worn, cracked, still fit my wrist. And tucked beneath a stack of receipts, a letter, folded in thirds, yellowing, handwritten, dated the night before our wedding. Will, I keep thinking about running. Not because I don't love you, but because you're so good. You're kind and calm and sure. I've never known what to do with someone like that. I feel like I'll mess it up. I'm scared of becoming a wife and losing myself. I don't know if I'm strong enough for this life. She never gave it to me. She'd written her doubt in ink and married me anyway. Somewhere deep down, she'd known she was always going to leave. Some people don't know how to let go. Alyssa wasn't losing anymore. She was unraveling. After the court gave her supervised weekends, she played the part at first. Smiles. Watercolor sets for Sadie. Pizza toppings for Noah. She even showed up on time. Said all the right things in the parenting app. But Alyssa could only fake decency for so long. The 3rd visit, she never showed up at all. No call. No message. Just an empty bench at the city library and 2 confused kids holding their backpacks. I filed a report. The court issued a warning. She came to the next visit with sunglasses, fake tears, and some story about traffic. I didn't argue. I didn't shout. I let her talk herself into a corner. Because the thing about people like her is they always build their own cage. It happened on a Saturday in late April. We went to Willow Creek Park like we did every other weekend. Warm breeze, open sky. Noah brought his scooter. Sadie had her sketchbook. I packed turkey sandwiches, juice boxes, and the first aid kit I kept in the glove box, just in case. We were walking the loop trail near the pine trees when I saw her. Alyssa, standing under a tree about 30 yards away, dressed in black leggings and a long-sleeve top. Hair tied tight, sunglasses on, 2 heavy leashes in her hands. Dobermans. Big, lean, coiled muscle. Muzzles off, not wagging their tails, watching. Not her dogs. Her uncles. She once told me he bred them for security work, not for the weak-hearted. And now she was holding them like she was holding a decision. I stepped in front of the kids. Back on the path, I said quietly. Sadie looked up. What's wrong? Just stay behind me. Alyssa didn't wave, didn't smile. She stared, expressionless. Then, 2 tongue clicks. Once, twice, and she let the leashes fall. They ran. It happened fast. One charged straight for Noah. I grabbed him and spun around, shielding him with my body. The other dog lunged at Sadie, snapping at her wrist. She screamed. I kicked hard, felt the dog's ribs, heard a yelp. Then another set of teeth bit into my calf. Chaos. Someone threw a water bottle. A woman screamed. A man charged at one of the dogs with a stroller. Another guy kicked at it with a bike tire. The dog snarled. One dripped blood from the mouth. Alyssa stood still, watching. Call them off, I shouted. She tilted her head. If the children are not with me, then with no one else, she said. Alyssa, guess they don't like the sound of your voice. Her voice was calm, like she was reading a weather report. The chaos kept growing. I pulled both kids to the side, ducked between trees, bleeding down my boot, and back toward the truck. By the time I turned around again, she was gone. Just gone. We went straight to the ER. Noah had bruises on his shoulder, but nothing broken. Sadie had 4 stitches in her arm. The bite just missed the tendon. Me? A puncture wound on my calf deep enough to leave a permanent limp for the next few weeks. They gave me antibiotics and a tetanus shot. Sent me home with gauze and a bill. But the worst injury was watching my kids shake. Sadie didn't talk for 2 hours. Just held my hand. Noah cried himself to sleep. The police took the statement seriously. Very seriously. One of the men who helped had recorded a minute of it on his phone. You could see her. Standing. Watching. Not moving. The officer looked at me and said, this wasn't neglect. This was calculated. I know, I said. And I'm done playing defense. That night I sat in the kitchen. The kids were upstairs, tucked in. I could hear cartoons through the walls. Some show with animals that talked too fast. The house smelled like cocoa butter and antiseptic. I opened my wallet. That old worn leather my dad gave me at 18. Inside, I kept the brass compass I'd brought back from Angola for Noah. Still pointed north. I whispered to myself, we don't run anymore. Then I called my lawyer. We filed to revoke visitation permanently. Submitted the report. The footage. Medical records. Sworn statements. But Alyssa countered. Claimed I'd instigated the situation. Said I was yelling, aggressive, escalating energy. Said I was losing control. She filed her own motion, demanding I undergo a psychological review. Classic misdirection. Some apologies aren't apologies at all. They're weapons. Dressed in soft words, mascara streaks, and carefully posed pictures. That's what Alyssa pivoted to after the court shut her out. She wasn't allowed near the house. The judge had stripped her visitation. The kids were healing, smiling, eating, sleeping. So she found another way to hurt us, through perception. Her first post showed up 3 days after the ruling. A filtered photo of her holding sunflowers. Captioned, healing is messy, but I'm still a mother. Still love. Still worthy. The likes came quick. Sympathy rolled in from people who hadn't seen her in years. She tagged mutual friends. Posted throwbacks of Sadie and Noah. Said she missed them. Said she was being kept from her babies. Never mind the court transcripts. Never mind the ER reports. Never mind the journal entries detailing how she broke them like toys. This was a new kind of war. One fought with hashtags and heartbreak filters. And I wasn't about to let her win it. At first, I ignored it. Let her post. Let her whine. But then I saw Shelby, someone I'd once called a friend, share one of those pictures with a crying emoji and a comment. No mother should be cut off from her kids. Alyssa's aunt chimed in too. This system is evil. Keep fighting, sweet girl. But not everyone bought it. A mom from Sadie's old school replied. She wasn't crying when she sicked 2 dogs on them. The post got deleted, but it was enough to flip the switch inside me. That Friday night, I stopped for gas with Sadie after her art class. As I turned out of the station, I spotted it parked behind a strip mall in the back lot behind Bliss Nail Bar. Alyssa's BMW. The same one she flaunted while we were still technically married. The one with tinted windows, red leather seats, and a wild and free decal slanted across the back windshield. There it was. Clean. Proud. Untouched. And something in me snapped. I didn't sleep that night. Just waited. When the kids were in bed and the neighborhood was quiet, I got in my truck and drove out to the supply yard. Rented a barrel of quickset concrete. The guy behind the counter looked at me and said, "Post hole?" I smiled. Yeah, let's call it that. I drove to the same back lot and parked 2 lanes over. Midnight. Cold air. No cameras. No witnesses. I rolled the barrel up. Had it pre-mixed in the wheelbarrow I keep in the truck bed. I popped the hood on her BMW. Still warm. Still smug. Then I poured. Thick, gray sludge filling the entire engine cavity. It hissed as it spread, filling every crevice. By the time it set, it would weigh more than the car. Then I pulled out the spray paint. Red. Same color she always wore on her nails when she lied to my face. Across the hood, I wrote, "This on you. For every bite." And on the windshield. Still soft? Still lying. I walked away. No rush. No fear. Just silence. I drove home, poured a glass of milk, and slept like the dead. The next morning, it was viral. Someone posted a photo and tagged her. Caption: "Looks like karma sets quick dry now." She tried to take it down. Too late. Screenshots don't disappear. I didn't gloat. Didn't brag. But I did get a few texts. From Shane, my lawyer. "Concrete? You absolute legend. Let's never make you mad." From Shelby. "Please tell me that wasn't you." And also, "I hope it was." And one from a block number. "You think this is over? You think this is funny?" I didn't reply. I was too busy helping Sadie plant flowers in the backyard. She filed a complaint. Tried to press charges. But the strip mall didn't share security footage without a warrant. And her timeline didn't match. She said she was there all night. A worker told police she left at 10 p.m. The dealership voided her lease. Filed a bill for full damage, $18,400. I heard, through the grapevine, that she tried pawning off a bracelet her mother left her. Even tried to file bankruptcy. The silence that followed was golden, but not peaceful, because a woman like Alyssa doesn't vanish. She regroups. She hides in the cracks and waits until you forget. But I hadn't. The kids noticed the shift. They laughed more. Sadie slept better. Noah stopped asking, "What if the dog lady comes back?" We started eating dinner on the porch again. One night, Sadie turned to me and asked, "Do you ever miss her?" I took a long sip of water, then answered, "I miss who I thought she was." She nodded. "Me too." Then she reached across the table, took my hand, and said, "You're different now. Better. Safer." And right there, I realized. The revenge wasn't the concrete, or the red paint. It was her words. It was knowing I rebuilt something she never could. There's a certain kind of desperation that doesn't scream. It whispers. It sends emails. It leaves voicemails for your boss, laced in sugar and poison. Alyssa wasn't done. She couldn't hurt me legally. She couldn't get near the kids. She couldn't walk through our front door or park outside without risking arrest. So she tried something new. She tried to take away the one thing that still let me sleep at night. My work. I got the call on a Monday morning. Warehouse manager. Leland. Solid guy. Been through a divorce himself. He spoke soft but firm. "Hey, Will. I got something weird I need to talk to you about." I stepped outside to take it. He said, "We got an anonymous tip last night. Said you were unstable. Said you had violent outbursts at home." My jaw tightened. Let me guess. Woman's voice? Sounded calm. Sweet. Fake southern drawl? Something like that, he said. Said you poured concrete into someone's engine. That you were dangerous. That we should do a mental health check and remove you from high-risk zones. I almost laughed. Almost. Then he added, "Also left a comment card at the Union Hall. Signed it with your name. Claimed you threatened a coworker in the break room." I hadn't even been in the break room that day. "Do I need to take this upstairs?" he asked. "No," I said. "Let me handle it." 2 days later, I found out she'd sent fake screenshots of text messages to HR. She used an app to spoof the phone number. Made it look like I threatened her. Made it look like I confessed to the car incident. HR brought me in. Sat me down like I was a bomb they weren't sure how to defuse. But then Leland slid the real security tapes across the table. Me. At work. On every day she claimed I wasn't. And a timestamp showing I was on site the night she said I vandalized her car. HR cleared me. No write-up. No record. They added a red flag to my employee file, under targeted harassment. Ignore external tips unless legally verified. That should have been the end. But then the incredible thing happened. The phone rang at 2 a.m. on a Friday. It was Alyssa's mother. We hadn't spoken in over 2 years. "Will," she said, her voice cracking. "She's in jail." I sat up in bed. "What?" "She broke into your job. Dressed like an inspector. Claimed she was OSHA. Said she had to check the wiring." My mouth went dry. "She what?" "Got caught sneaking into the electrical wing with a camera and fake clipboard. Security pinned her before she got far. She said it was for a blog. I didn't say anything. Then she added, she told the police you were gaslighting her. Said you installed cameras in her ceiling fan. Said you were turning the children into spies. I laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was insane. Because it was the sound of a woman hitting the bottom of a well she dug herself. The charges stuck. Trespassing. Impersonating an official. Tampering with federal tax. She got 90 days probation and a psychiatric evaluation order. The mugshot hit local news. Black hoodie. No makeup. Dead stare. She looked like a stranger. Sadie saw the headline at school. A teacher showed me the printout she took from the library. She circled Alyssa's face. That's my mom, she told her class.